Hi, ich bin Julia von Pointer und ich sitze hier neben der schwedischen Autorin Emelie Schepp, die gerade ihren dritten Krimi Engelsschuld veröffentlicht hat. Emelie, wie geht es dir?
Mir geht es gut.
Can you describe me what's happening in your book?
Of course I can. Engelsschuld is the third novel in the series of Jonna Berzelius, who's working as a prosecutor. And Engelsschuld is actually about a man called Philip Engström, who's working as an ambulance driver in Sweden. And one day he's been called out to an apartment where a woman is severely injured. And he slowly finds out that he knows this woman. And when another body is found, when another victim is found, he suddenly realizes that he has something to do with these murders. And at the same time, Jonna Berzelius, who is a prosecutor, leads the investigation. And she also finds out that there is a pattern about these murders and who is killing these victims and why. So there is a lot of things going on in this Engelsschuld.
How do you get new ideas?
Well, actually, I get great ideas from the world we're living in. Engelsschuld was actually from a talk with my great friend Elin, who actually works as an ambulance driver. And she told me, you know what, Emily, as an ambulance driver, we can work like 12 hours straight, we can work 24 hours straight, we can work 36 hours straight without getting enough food, without getting enough sleep, and then we have to get out and rescue lives. So that's how I came up with Engelsschuld.
And how do you start writing a book? Do you know the whole story when you start, or does it develop?
No, actually it develops. I always know the first sentence and I always know the last sentence, but anything can happen there between. And writing is actually, for me, it's the story is developing all the time. And I try to know as much as I can before I get to start writing. So I do a lot of thinking before I start to write.
Do you have any special rituals or traditions when you write, like you have to be at some place or you have to drink tea or something?
I actually do. I can never write on a plane. I can never write when I travel because I have to stay in my basement at home. I have to have it real dark. I have to have it complete silent. And I also have a little candle on my desk.
Have you ever experienced a writer's block?
Yes, of course. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days. And when I have writer's block, I usually get out and take a walk with my husband, trying to talk what to do with the characters or whatever I am stuck with. So a walk or a nice running is helping me.
In your books, you describe murders and crimes and really awful human behavior. What interests you in writing about this?
Well, actually, I'm really interested in understanding why. Why are people killing each other? Why are people behaving badly? And why do we want to hurt people? So the question why is actually the cause why I'm writing.
And have you gotten any answers by writing?
Yes, I get a lot of answers. And it's terrible actually to know that we are being formed throughout childhood very much. And I'm really, really sad to read about people who have been, treated badly and then turn into violence. So you can definitely see a pattern there.
What is it like to meet your readers?
I love meeting my readers. I actually started out as a self-publisher. And being a self-publisher, you have to fight to be read, and I decided very early to meet my readers face to face. So I designed my own signing tour, and I did a lot of signings, and I convinced the readers to pick my book instead of any other book. So nowadays I do still a lot of signings, and the best part in being a writer, except for writing, is to meet my readers, of course.
What is the best compliment you have ever gotten for one of your books?
This is the best books I ever read.
So you told me about your friend who's an ambulance driver. Do you often use real-life persons and make them into characters in your book?
No, I don't use real-life characters, but I use ideas from real life, and characters are actually a lot of real people, because you collect some personalities and you collect some real life events, and you put a lot of imagination on it, and then you turn it into a story.
When did you decide to become an author?
Well, I had been working as a project manager in advertising for 10 years, and I was quite tired of the profession, actually. So I decided I wanted to write, because during the time as a project manager, I have been written, articles and doing some interviews as well. But I wanted to write longer than an article, because an article only allows you to write a certain amount of words. So I decided to write longer and more free, and it took a while before I decided to write a book, actually. I never dreamt of writing a book, but I have always been written stories. And first, actually, I started to write movie scripts. So I attended a course. It was not a long course. It was only 2 days, actually. But I learned so much during these 2 days about writing movie scripts. So I decided to write 2 movie scripts, and I sent it in to different production companies. And I crossed my fingers that I would become a movie script writer. But actually, later on, I read an article about a very famous producer in Sweden. And he said in this article that it's really, really hard to get money or raise money to produce Swedish movies. So I decided, well, if he can't do this, how should I manage to do this? So I decided to use my knowledge in screenwriting and use it to write a book instead.
So, because you're talking about movies, are there any plans to ever turn one of the books into a movie?
Actually, yes, but I can't tell you about it, because I can't really yet. But hopefully we will see Jana and the other characters in this series soon in television.
Great. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you so much.